I'm live. I can hear some annoying crackling, but I'm live. 3 concurrent viewers. Boom. And I have the chat here, which is slightly buggy. This is weird. Oh well. Alright, so we want to build a meditation web app that uses WebSockets. Yeah, that's basically it. Let's just get into it. So I'm going to make a new project on. Actually, I will first make a GitHub project, which I will make on this iPad, so that I do not display all of my GitHub stuff on the stream. That would probably be fine anyway though, but let's do this. Repository name. Actually, I already have one, don't I? If I look at repositories. Yeah. So let's start from where I left off. Cool. So I will cd into my projects folder. Is there something called? No. I will make directory Sajori, cd into Sajori, and then I will git clone https github.com/. So usually you would copy and paste this, but I am copying it off of my iPad screen. And I forget if you need to add the .git at the end. Let's try that. It works. There's my one concurrent viewer. Hell yeah. Let's keep that up to date. Boom. So cool. Now I can cd into just sitting and open up this code base. Sweet. Then I want to go into glitch and I want to do clone from git repo. Ah, this is interesting. So does glitch I think glitch uses its own git, doesn't it? Okay, well let's clone from here and then we might just delete that local one that we just made. And we might need to use this repository instead that will be created on glitch, but that's okay. Lol. Kind of explicit comments there. That's from when I originally made this, so to be fair, I can just edit in here. I don't even need to use VS Code. Let's just close that. close you too. Very nice. So this is the app that I previously made, and yeah, I don't know what does that direct you to? GitHub. Very nice. Okay, so we have 2 sitting. Interesting, because I would have thought there was only 1, unless someone in chat is here as well. How can I get Sajori just... Ugh. Again 2. So maybe this is broken. Oh, now we get 3. And then we get 4. And yeah, it's updated in all of them. So that's using WebSockets to update between. And for some reason we base on 2, which is slightly confusing. I kind of just jumped headfirst into this stream without really preparing what to do. But that is okay. Oh, now we're at 1. Okay, so maybe we did have a cheeky viewer on there with me, which is fine. Okay, so we have that, which is very cool. I say we chuck that here, we chuck that here, and then we can edit the site live. So first of all, let's delete these comments because I can't trust them. They're a bit rude. And now let's look through the code. You can see it's super simple here. We're requiring Express, creating an Express app. We're also requiring HTTP, which, I mean, oh yeah, I see. So yeah, we're using Express to set our endpoints here. So this root endpoint is going to send the index.html file, and I mean we could actually change that to all, which just means that then even if you go what, you still get this, which just means that endpoints won't break, which, you know, better than nothing. So we then define a count and an iterator. I have these questions that I wrote before, which just kind of supply insightful, mindful questions. And then we have an interval that's just running on the server. So obviously this is all running on the server, which is every minute sending a new question. So we should see here a question appear, although we haven't, which is strange. But we should, yeah, every minute run this interval, which will log a question. Oh, there we go. That was just a slow minute. Console log question, and then the number of the question that we're on, and then what that question actually is by using the iterator count as an index in the array. Then we emit a socket.io event using this io.emit, which is going to emit some data to all of the clients that are currently connected to the server, and we're going to name that event question update, and then we're going to send the question as the data corresponding to that WebSocket event. So then we get to this condition: if I is greater than or equal to questions.length -1, I equals 0, and we restart the questions. Cool. And then we have a event handler, event listener, handler, whatever, which is saying that on the socket IO connection, and then we're passing a callback function, which is the function to be run once this connection event happens. So this is an event being sent from the client to the server, whereas this is an event being sent from the server to the client. So we can see when we get this connection from a client, this connection event, we can see user connected. We then add 1 to the count. We then emit count update, and then count plus sitting right now. So that is that text that we're getting right here. Socket.on love button, we're going to emit a love button event. Socket.on peace button, we're going to emit a peace button event. We can see we have these buttons here. These are the events. Interesting, we're not passing any data here, we're just saying the love button event happened. So we're handling the event, the logic of this event in the actual client, in the user's web client, not on the server, but we're just saying love button, do something. Same with peace button. And then we have on disconnect, user disconnected. Let's just format that properly and tab those back. Yeah, count -1, and then we emit count update, count sitting right now. Nice, super simple little server, WebSocket server there. I actually wrote this nearly 2 years ago originally. Can I get rid of this dog? Cool. I actually wrote this nearly 2 years ago, but it still works just fine. Isn't that awesome? And then obviously we're saying HTTP listen, process.env port, and basically just running this on a port. Although I think glitch must be setting this environment variable, because we are not hitting the 3333 port here. We're just hitting the root domain. So yeah, that's nice. The glitch is doing that for us. So we've seen what the server is doing. Very simple. Let's have a look at the HTML file, which is a bit chunkier. But you can see we don't have very much. Going on in this website. So luckily we don't have too much markup to go through. In fact, very little, which is very nice. What I will do is resize this a little bit so that my face is not... Oh, I wish I could crop it. I don't really want... I do have this cool face tracking feature on my webcam. Come on, focus, man. Right. Right. Well, don't really want to change the resolution. I just want to crop it. It's really annoying that we can't crop that. Maybe I should try to change the resolution. Alright, let's change the resolution. So we know it's 1720. Let's quickly debug this. I know this is not what you guys are here to see. Apologies. But we're doing it now. 720p resolution. It's 1280 by 720. So let's try 960 by 720. That may have actually done what we wanted it to. I mean, I'm still tiny down there. I'll cover up a bit more of the screen. I don't really want to cover up any of the code though, because that is just quite annoying. Yeah, let's leave it as that. I'm just going to check on my little stream monitor here if that is big enough or if that looks too small. It is quite small, isn't it? Okay, that'll do. So, back to the markup that we have here. We have a standard HTML5 document, you know, the classic boilerplate. In most code editors you can just like really handily, if you want to like generate a full file, you can kind of, is there a way that we can get this in? Okay, well, we probably can't run one if we've already got the file generated, but in a lot of code editors you can literally start typing the doc type, or in VS Code for instance you can write HTML5 in a tag or something, or just write HTML5 and it will give you like a option. You can just hit enter and it will set up that boilerplate of HTML for you, which is super nice. So obviously you've got your doc type, you've got your doc type, your head, and your body. You can see there's no CSS here, so I've put all of the styles into the actual head itself. It's not got very many styles, so you can kind of see like I'm just getting away with it. Obviously as soon as you start to add quite a few styles in, you don't really want to just be like chucking them all in one into your head here, because half your document will just be style. I mean, half of this document, maybe a third of this document is style. So, but yeah, we'll leave it like this for now. You can see we're grabbing the Montserrat font from Google and then setting the document title to just sitting, which you can see up here. There is in fact no favicon, so why don't we rectify that now? Glitch gives us a nice little assets folder here, which I'm assuming goes via a CDN. So cool, let's upload an asset. Drag files here to use them, add images and stuff. Can we just drag directly from the browser? Can I just drag directly? Oh no, that's text. Right. Meditation emoji. Images. Person in lotus position. I really like this shade of blue as well. It's just, yeah, that is a nice peaceful shade of blue. That and then like a nice light pink, and I might redo this little fade here. That would be lovely. So, I mean, we don't really want to use this as our... yes, we do need to save it to our computer first. We also don't want to use that as the favicon because obviously it's so big and blue. We want something more along the lines of this. I'm looking for like a super neutral one. Tell you actually, I do have a little drawing of somebody meditating that I made, so I'll grab that because we don't have to worry about licensing as well. Do 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 do. File size small, and yeah, we'll go with a PNG. Actually, before we do that, we do want to make sure that the background is... What do we want to do for the background? Shall I just leave it as a square? It probably shouldn't just be a square. I think that will look a little bit ugly. So what I will do... you know what? Let's just do a square. It's fine. It's fine. And then I shall... How shall I message this to myself? How can I get it to my computer without showing you guys sensitive information of mine? I can do a file share. What's that thing where you upload a file and there's a service that does that. You upload a file and then you get a link for it and then you can share the link. Let's just search file share. WeTransfer. Does WeTransfer this little image over? Okay, apparently I have to Google it. I have to email it to myself. Email verify. Classic. Let's grab that code. Put that in here. Right, well it didn't actually generate me a link, it literally just emailed. Great. Alright, I do have a link, but it is so long. Okay. Excuse me while I blacken my screen and just grab this from my email. I should have just emailed it and blackened my screen. Okay. And we will save that file. Now, uploading asset, there we go. Let me unblack my screen. Shoop. And boom. We have a nice little asset here. So, now how do I reference this asset? I reference him by... I probably should have renamed it. Okay, black again. Now let's close this. Let's delete what we have here. Yep, delete. And go to my folders, downloads, rename this guy to just sitting, and it's .png. Let's upload that in. Boom, just sitting.png, and unblacken you. Cool, so you can see I have this little PNG here. It doesn't really match the theme of this site necessarily, but that's okay. So, how do we get an icon in? I believe we use the icon tag. Let's just go mdn icon tag and we can find exactly what we want. No, I literally Google this every single time I do it. Favicon tag. How to add a favicon to your site. Link, well, icon. That's what we want. Copy that bad boy. Okay. And now, how does Glitch want us to... Yeah, it wants us to get it through the CDN link here. So they are providing a CDN. That is very nice. So,
if I paste this here, you can see we get a little man sitting. It's quite small. It looks a little bit like a penis. But that is a little man sitting. Cool. So, let's look into the style. We have an HTML where we're defining our font after we have imported the font here. Setting the height of the document, font family, sans serif, blah blah blah. Background image. Right, so we're taking a gradient and it's kind of going through at an angle through 3 different shades. Let's have a look at what these shades are. Yes, HTML color codes. This is a great site. So, why are you no work? Let's make sure we've got that copied. Whoa. Okay, it doesn't want us to do that. Can we not edit you? I have definitely done this before. We do it here. And remove the hashtag. Okay, so that's the blue that you can see we have in the top corner. That kind of grey, which I think would be nicer as a pink. So if I go to meditation emoji and go to images. Now I like this blue, so do I have GIMP on this? I do not think I do. Actually, I can probably do this in Paint. Let's open up Paint and can I drag that directly into Paint? That would be beautiful. Oh, I can. That is wonderful. So, where we can get that shade. Oh, you're not going to give me the hex value. That is annoying. That is very annoying. Let's have a quick Google and see if that's possible. Get hex code from Paint. And select edit colors. Right. Well, oh. Apparently Paint 3D will give us this. This is a bit of a tangent, I know. Apologies. But let's give it a spin. So, beautiful. Where's that color picker tool? Brushes. Come on. I am a fool. Nice. There we go. Paint 3D. Coming out, saving us. Okay. So, that's obviously the bottom right. So, let's see. If I paste this in here. Nice. Okay, so I like that deep blue how it is. Let's use this light shade of blue up here. Very cool. kind of got this like chill blue gradient. I was kind of thinking that we should put some pink in there, but maybe not. Oosh, that's gross. Yeah. Alright, let's leave it like that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? Okay, so you can see if we go beyond the rest of our in the rest of our style settings, we have the color set to white, which is happening across all of the body. You can see that all of the text is white. The default color tag means white. Interestingly, actually, the background is a background image, and then we're creating a linear gradient and using that as an image. We're not just saying background color. That's just a quirk of HTML. Text shadow. All text has this little shadow effect on it, which am I that fond of it? It's a little bit gross, isn't it? That's definitely better. Just a little bit more diffused. And then let's give it a way lighter. Ooh, no, let's not do that. That was too light. Maybe about a 040404. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So then we're setting the height of the document to 100%. You can see we set the HTML element, which is the whole document. You can see HTML here. We set that to 100%. So setting the body to 100% is essentially going to say be 100% of the HTML. So you can see the, sorry, not the head. The HTML is our root element, and then we have the head and the body as elements within the HTML element. Head obviously doesn't show, that's just containing like information and metadata about the app, as well as some style settings and links for assets, etc. It's not actually showing any actual hard content on the site. All of the content is within the body. So by setting the body height to 100%, we are saying fill the HTML, and we are telling the HTML to fill the window, so therefore the body will fill the window. Display flex, flex direction column, justify content center, and text align center. So display flex, this is going to use the CSS flex box attribute. The default one is inline, which will stack your elements on top of each other, but will arrange them all to the top left of the screen. Flex basically will allow you to configure the layout of the elements within this element that you have set as a flex element. It will give you a bit more control on how the elements within your element are laid out. So it actually defaults to putting elements this way, sideways, as a row. So then we say flex direction column to say actually stack them vertically. Justify content center is going to make everything go to the center of the flex box. So the body, which is taking up the whole view, is the flex box. So by justifying center, we are saying justify the content to the center of the flex box. If I do flex start here, then it takes it to the start. If I do flex end, it'll take it to the end. So let's set that back to center. You may also notice, or you may think, but hang on, because this stuff is at the top and this stuff is at the bottom, if they're on the view and they're within the body, which is taking up the whole screen, so they must be within the body, why are they not centered as well? To that I would say, very good question, you are a smart person, and we will get to that very shortly. So text align center is just going to make all of the text align center. I mean, obviously this is completely preference. We could do left and then margin the text so that it aligns to the left, but it's kind of squidged into the center of the screen. Let me give you an idea of what I mean by that. If I go body P, so this is P within body, and then set margin to 0 auto, so that's going to be 0 on the top, auto on the sides. That hasn't worked. That is because it's the width of the whole screen. So if I set the width to, say, 400px, then okay, we've broken the emojis because they have P's above them, which are being used to display these little hearts, these little emoji things. But you get the idea. What I mean with the text is like still demonstrated. But anyway, we don't want to do that, and we do want to have the text align centered. So let's do that. Cool. Welcome all. Feel free to sit and chill for as long as you want. Okay, so now coming back to how I said these aren't centered, they must have their own style. What's going on there? Well, if we go into the style here, we can see header and footer. We've got text align left on the header, position fixed, left 0, top 0. So we're saying position fixed is basically saying ignore the positioning that you're being told by other things to do and just set yourself where I tell you. We're also setting the width to be 100 and the padding to be 10 pixels. The width being 100 is probably unnecessary. We can probably just remove that and it's not going to change anything. Padding is obviously just kind of boosting it out from the sides a little bit. So we could have that. Actually looks quite nice, 20 to be honest. But how about 15? Slightly budge him in. And then the footer, as you can see, is very similar. It's fixed, it's ignoring the positioning it's being told to have by its parent, but we're setting it to the bottom. Now it is important that the width here is 100% because it's going to still have this text align center, because text align center has been set on the whole body, which means children of the body, and you can see that here is the body and here is the footer. The footer is a child of the body, therefore it will inherit these style settings and it will inherit text align center. So if we set the width of the footer to be 100%, it's going to text align to the center of that. We could always override that and do text align left and then boom, which actually looks kind of nice, but it's not what we want. So let's keep that center. Now I do want to figure out why we're getting this strange scroll behavior, so what we can do is open up the inspector here and is it our body that has that? Yes. So annoyingly, most browsers will actually set a default margin on your body, which is super lame. So what we can do to fix that is just add a margin setting on the body to overwrite the default one given by the browser, and now you can see we can't scroll. So default browsers will just give the body a margin of something like 10 pixels. It's kind of just a legacy feature. It's a bit annoying. Pretty much every single website that you make, you will probably overwrite that in your body and set the body margin to be 0. Okay, cool. So that's the styling. Pretty simple, huh? So let's move on to the actual markup code. So our markup code, well, this is all markup because it's HTML, but our elements of the body, the actual physical stuff that you can see in the site, consists of 3 divs. Div standing for divider. It represents like a section. It's just a box basically. So we have 3 boxes. We have header, app, and footer. So within header we have paragraph for count, which is defaulting to 0 sitting right now. We could default that to ... sitting right now, and then you can see if I refresh this, we get ... and then it loads in with how many people actually are sitting. And if I open up a new tab, we should get ... too. Beautiful. So That's all fine. We then have our buttons within our header div, which are love button and peace button. Interestingly, you can see that we broke line on between P and button, and then on buttons we have not broken line. This is just the default behavior of websites. The P will a P will fill the width of a div, so you can see the P. Actually, the P is basically defining the width of the div because we haven't set the width of header. Therefore, P, being as wide as it needs to be for the text, will just set the width of the div. But the buttons have their own width, and buttons by default will display inline. I could do a break here. Is that going to work? Interestingly, that does not work. Putting a line break between the buttons does not actually want to make them break. If I put a paragraph between them, what do we see? We don't see anything. Why do we not see anything? It thinks we've broken it. Am I being an idiot? If I had someone watching, it would be good for somebody to tell me that I'm being a fool. Alas, there is nobody watching. Oh, I actually have questions from 8 minutes ago. Since when do you code? Hi, since when do you code? Sorry, Cristiano. I code for 3 or 4 years. 2 years professionally, and then kind of hobby before that. Yeah, whoops. I hope you actually saw me answer that. Well, that's strange that P isn't breaking those lines. I'm probably being a fool and missing something. But let's move on. The value of ID must be in double quotes. That is really weird that that is not in double quotes. Huh. Whoops. Okay. Well, let's fix that. I wonder if that was what was stopping our break from appearing. So BR is just a break element which should create a line break. And that is so strange that we are not seeing... Oh. Now it's appearing. Did we just not have hot reload working? Ah, yeah, okay, now we have hot reload working. Strange. Oh, and now break is working on the buttons. Cool, there we go. So, yeah, these are those buttons. We could do with styling those buttons a bit and just making them look a little bit nicer. So, what we can do is, in our style, let's just get this squished up a little bit to take up a little bit less space, and let's add some button stylings. We will say border radius, so this is going to set a radius on the corners of the border. We'll set that to 2 pixels. Let's try 5 pixels. Cool. Now you can see we do have this weird border kind of default shadow that browsers will put on buttons, so it's lighter up here and then darker down here, just this shadow effect. We can get rid of that by saying border none. But then we probably want a little bit of padding because our things are squished. Cool. And then what we can do is actually, instead of using the border, we could use some drop shadow we can say 2px, 2px. In fact, why don't we just replicate what the text has, which is 040404, and I can't actually even see if there is a drop shadow on that. Is it called box shadow, not drop shadow? Yes, there we go. Okay, it looks significantly darker on here. We may need to blur it more. No, not really liking that. Let's just use a lighter grey. Nope, that's still gross. Let's make sure that we are giving that the correct attributes that it wants. So, box shadow. Yeah, so we are doing this right. Yeah, looks like we just need to use a much lighter, much lighter tone. There we go. That was a little strange. Memorizing hex codes is a struggle. It is true. Maybe reduce the bit of the blur on that. Nice. That looks nice and pretty. I think those buttons have a default background that is grey, whereas we want more of a white. So let's just set that white. There we go. You can actually use color names in HTML like this. You don't have to use hex codes. The default HTML colors are a bit gross. Like the red is a very aggressive red. The blue is a bit of a gross blue, etc. You can get some nice ones like a teal. Oof, that's actually surprisingly good. I wonder what happens if we give that. Yeah, nah. Let's leave those white. Cool. So that's our header with our buttons. Then let's look at the main box, the main div, which is the app. The div with class of app. By the way, you give divs classes as a link for style code or JavaScript dynamic code to adjust them. That may have been explained very poorly, but what I mean is you can see we have a class header on this div, on this section of the site, and then by using dot header in our CSS we are saying take the thing with class of header and apply these styles to it, or take anything with class header and apply these styles to it. So we can have multiple headers and those styles will be used on anything that has the class of header. That's a bit gross because you can see they're overlapping each other there, but you get the idea. Conversely though, you can see these went red. The ID value count must be unique. So in your HTML you can have multiple things of one class, however you cannot have multiple things of one ID. This will not be enforced a lot of the time, and you can have multiple IDs, but the purpose of the ID is that it is it's identifier specifically for one thing, whereas a class is much more generic, much more general case. So you can see here we do use IDs for these because there should only ever be one count of how many people are sitting, one love button and one peace button. So in our app, you can see we are setting display flex justify content center here in a div within app, and this div is holding more divs. This div is holding 3 separate divs, each with a P for sitter space and a span ID sitter that is containing the sitter graphic. So I'd quite like to change this so that you get multiple people, multiple emojis here sitting, depending on how many people are in the site sitting right now. I think that would be quite nice. So what we need to do is implement that with some JavaScript. What we want to do is take this div, and we will set this div for ID to be sitters. Let's call it sitters. So let's cut out these. Boosh. We have no sitters. We just have blank space here. Now we can put comments in HTML like this. And we can say this is where the sitters will go. Now, to dynamically add stuff in to the site and not just have it hard coded into the markup, we need to use JavaScript. We need to use JavaScript code to dynamically adjust the site, and that is how we are displaying. Oh, those won't show because I have deleted the spots for them to show. That is how the heart and the peace emojis are shown, because that event comes through the heart button, which we can see in here, love button. That love button is coming from the server. Our client is sending a love button to the server is sending an event back to all of the users, and that event triggers some code down here, which is shown here, and I'll get to that in a minute, which will then it will set the content of this little div box above the sitters, the sitter space, to be a heart or a peace sign. So it's currently setting that randomly, but we might want to change that so that it is not setting it randomly and it is actually what was I going to say? It's not setting it randomly, it's actually setting it on above the sitter that clicked it, which is an interesting problem to solve actually. How would we do that? Because that means we need to give each sitter an ID, each client an ID. I'm sure we can access that through socket.io, and when we send our love button event, we need to send which ID sent the event, and when we send a connect, our connect event, we need to generate an ID for that user. Interesting. Okay, I think we can do that. So let's first of all start by deleting this once more. Actually, is it possible for me to edit redo? Yes, but I can't. Okay, let's put this comment back. This is where the sitters will go. Okay, so now count update. Here we go. So on our count update, we're running this function here, and this is JavaScript code, which you can see is very different to the HTML. It's a bit more similar to the CSS because we have these curly braces syntax, but CSS is very object oriented. It's almost saying defining an object of the class footer and then we're setting attributes within that object. Whereas JavaScript, we can also define objects like that, but we can also define variables, we can do maths, we can call all these little interesting functions like the document.getElementById, all of this kind of stuff. So what we've done is on count update, count document.getElementById count in HTML equals count, and that is going to set this up here. Now this is actually an interesting problem because the user connecting will need to say to the server, I have connected. The server then says, okay, this is your ID and this is your this is your ID and this is your emoji. So the server will generate the emoji for the person. We can just do that randomly. And then the person will receive their ID and their emoji along with everything else. And when they click the heart, it needs to show above their emoji. So on connect, so everyone needs a list of the number of people, and then everyone needs the number that they are within that number of people. So that's interesting. That didn't work. Did I break the count by adding these curly braces in? Strange if it has. Okay, it looks like our server on glitch has maybe stopped running. Is it? It's not my internet, is it? Weird. Yeah. App status is okay. We haven't edited any of that. So wrap text is nice, but that's not gonna solve our problem here, which is that we can't actually see the app anymore. Do I need to refresh this page? Hmm. All systems operational. Hey, we're back. Okay. Well, we also have this handy little glitch viewer here. It would also be really nice if we could see logs. Haha! So here we have server logs. Yes, that's beautiful. Although, annoyingly, it covers over the bottom of the log, which, if we move the mouse, we can get rid of it. Okay. Okay. Actually did slightly prefer having that as a separate window. So, let's just do that again. We don't need paint anymore. Don't save. This is a bit annoying. Okay, well, I'm gonna go get a glass of water, and hopefully this will resolve itself. This is glitch, basically, not showing us our site when we would like it to. Or the server is just running immensely slowly. But if we look at our app status, we're not peaking on any of these. Therefore, we should be running fine. Unless it's my code. No, it's definitely this glitch thing. I wonder if I need to boost it. Because even the count... the count isn't working. And that was previously working. How frustrating. Okay, well, I'm gonna get some water and I will be right back. Okay. Let us resume. This is just not working at all because these questions are firing. I'm starting to think that this is a... Come on. Should I be serving this file through the CDN? Is that what the problem is? That is an interesting problem to have. No, surely not. There was in fact a glitch. There's an express template that we can use. Alright, why don't we port our just sitting into there. Meditation plus web sockets. Wrap text, all that good stuff. Yep, cool. Let's have that like that. Beautiful. Now let's reopen. Not you. Right, this is where we were. So let's copy. So this is using public and views. Okay, let's put you there. And let's take our server file. Yeah, so you can see they're using process.env.port, so glitch is actually hosting port as an environment variable. Your app is listening on port. Well, let's leave that, and we can get rid of our HTTP listen here, which also means we don't need HTTP, which is quite nice. Tools, error, logs, error. Server 2. Oh, did we need that for... I see, we needed that for socket IO. Okay. Well, that's fine, because this was working for us before. It should be fine. In fact, let's actually copy their console log, because it was a little bit nicer. And let's paste that in there. What? We just needed a comma. Whoops, of course we just needed a comma. And now we don't need that. And we want that. Okay, you know what? I wonder wonder if we can actually just use... No, we can't. Okay. Let's stop being a fool here and let's just take the port from there, which we can use this cheeky little format because we're using backticks. And put that in there. No. Right, so in our package.json we now need dependencies HTTP and do I have to define a version? Can I just leave it blank? What's wrong with you? Oh, you need a comma. And we need socket.io. We actually don't need HTTP, we just need socket.io. Whoops. Cool, and now we're running. So, is that going to work? Come on. There we go. We do have an error here. Cannot find module app index.js. Ah. Right. So we should name that server. This is a pain. Right. You need to say views. Views is using an asset, which we want to move here. Let's paste him in. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We don't need delete that. Style.css. What we can do is take our style here and move that into our public style.css, which will neaten up our app a little bit. You can see now we have a site with no style. So what we want to do is we want to say link relation style sheet, and I think it's URL equals public.style.css. And that has pasted a little weirdly. Will it? There we go. Right. That hasn't worked, so link rel style sheet as href. And now we should no. Why are you unable to load? I had this running on a Heroku server before and it was absolutely fine. I wonder if Glitch maybe isn't as good at supporting WebSockets. Let's have a Google. Glitch WebSocket server. Nailed it. Okay. So we have a project here that supposedly works. It looks like Glitch is just running really slowly right now. Reddit loads fine. Right. Well, that is annoying. We will seems like Glitch is running at like snail's pace right now, which is really annoying. That is kind of a roadblock. My god, finally we got a load there. No, not take screenshot. Okay, well let's find out why the styles didn't work here. So a user connected. Could it be because we're redirecting all to index by adjusting that? I should now be able to actually query for that style sheet and actually get it. Although this hasn't really solved any of our problems. The original just sitting that we had was working fine. So I think that we should go to my glitch profile. We should delete that. Let's reopen this. That just won't even work. Edit that and call that just sitting. Meditation plus web sockets. And you can see that we actually did fix our style issue by changing our server redirect, which is interesting. Oh, or did we just swap back to using this? It may just be that we've swapped back to using this. And I wonder if glitch is just super like crippled right now because loads of people are using it. Would make sense, right? Okay, there we go. We have one sitting right now. These socket IO things are coming through so slow. WebSocket project on glitch running really slow. No. Seems to be running fine. What network request are you waiting on? Right. So, yeah, it is the server that's slowing us down a hell of a ton. I'm not sure how to fix this because the problem is our WebSocket queries here. Hello, Vishal Verma. How are you doing? We're struggling right now because I was trying to introduce a nice little change to this code. However, Glitch is now just not responding to our WebSocket requests. So this is essentially broken. The only thing to do really is just redeploy the code somewhere else. I mean, I could stick it on an EC2, I could stick it in Heroku, but I don't really want to go through and do all of that. I was quite liking this glitch editor, so I'm a bit disappointed, to be honest. I don't know if you've used glitch before and you've ever experienced this, but I wonder if I can... I mean, I did just look at the glitch server status and it was fine. So, yeah. Oh, project container availability has just dropped off. I wonder if... It looks like they have been experiencing some issues recently, which is annoying. And now we get a 504. Yeah, glitch is fucked. Okay, I'll try Chrome. But I am pretty sure that whoops, did not mean to inspect source. Meant to do thing. Let's have a look at the network. Okay. Yeah, all of these requests are pending. I think it is glitch, which sucks because I really don't want to have to go through and redeploy everything on Heroku right now. It just means completely redoing the stream because I need to use a different code editor. I can't use the web-based one and all this stuff, so I might just end the stream. That's super annoying. Unless it really is my internet. Not Facebook. Let's try. What's a good website? Sky.com. No, okay, that's fine. Yeah. Well, that sucks, but there's nothing we can do. Just gonna have to leave it for now and hope that glitch resolves this. It does look like they've been experiencing a lot of stuff in the last week, so what I will do is I'll restart the stream later next week. I'll probably be doing this again Thursday or Friday, and then if glitch is still not working, then we'll set up and deploy on Heroku instead. Although hopefully glitch has resolved the issue by then. But yeah, we'll just have to see. Anyway, this was really just a test stream anyway, because this is the first one I've done on this channel. I used to stream coding on Twitch, and now, yeah, and then, I don't know, coming back I just thought maybe I should try YouTube. So, it's been a good test stream. Too bad. I know, right? You'll have to come back next time, Vishal. But thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping by, man. Cool. Alright then. Well, I shall stop the stream. Have a nice evening, all. Peace.